The following is an all-student production of the Cougar Sports Network in association with Hometown Cable.
The Cougar Sports Network welcomes you to Northeastern Clinton Central School Spring Sports Preview Show. This is Cody Roberts. Alongside me is Mike Rao. With the success of the boys soccer team in the fall and the girls basketball team in the winter, now behind us, it is time for the spring sport teams to take the spotlight.
Last year, the girls softball team won the Section 7 Class B championship. Golfer Justin Ballard had a top 20 finish in the state championship tournament, and other spring sports teams at Northeastern Clinton had highly successful seasons in 2004.
Coming up in our spring sport preview show, we will speak with the coaches of the various spring sports teams at NCCS and get their insight on the upcoming seasons.
So we invite you to join us over the next half hour as we present the Northeastern Clinton Central School Spring Sports Preview Show.
This is Cody Roberts for Cougar Sports Network. I'm here with golf coach Matt Fredette. Coach, I'd just like you to recap last year's season.
Well, last year we had a really strong season. We were 9-2, and we finished right behind Saranac Lake and Seton Catholic. We had a really strong season. Also did well at our sectionals. Had one player, Justin Ballard, who qualified for the state tournament and finished number one out of our section there. And we did really strong last year, and hopefully we'll do well this year too.
What are your expectations for this year?
I'm really hoping that some of the players that are returning from last year that either were high starters or didn't start will step up this year, improve their averages, and fill in the gaps that was left by the seniors that aren't here anymore.
Which players are you looking to step up and fill those gaps?
There are a number of players. I'm hoping Justin Ballard stays strong. There's Dan Moore, Mike Rao, Matt Phillips, Brad Trahan, a new player, Cody Roberts, who is interviewing me now. Hopefully he'll step up too and fill in some of those spots that were left from the seniors.
What record would make you happy?
We talked as a team about that, and I thought 7-win season would be really good considering, we had 9 wins last year but lost 3 key starters. But a few of the players thought we should shoot higher and try to go to undefeated, and I think it's possible because Saranac Lake and Seton are still strong, but we're playing them at home, and so we might be able to beat them again and beat the other teams as well, hopefully.
Okay, this has been Cougar Sports Update with Coach Matt Fredette.
Hi, this is Mike Rao, and joining me now is Justin Ballard from the varsity golf team. Now, Justin, I'd like to start off asking you how your experience was at at States last year.
States was a lot of fun. The course was in great condition. There were some really good players down there, and we had a lot of fun. They treated us really well down there.
Now, last year you were consistently number 1 player. Do you find a little added pressure?
A little bit, but we have a pretty laid-back team, and we have a lot of fun on the bus and a lot of fun playing together, so I'm going to do the best I can, but yeah.
How do you think this year's team's going to do compared to last year?
We lost some of our seniors this year, so I think it's going to be a little bit tougher competing, but I think we have some new talent that's going to be coming up, and it's going to be helping out a lot.
Now, a big part of golf is on the road. What's your favorite course to play on the road?
I think I liked Adirondack the best. It had the nicest course, I think, or one of the nicest courses, and it's really tight and challenging.
Now, in previous years, sectionals have been played in Westport, and they have been changed this year to Saranac Inn. How do you feel about that?
I think Saranac Inn is a great course. We played it once for one match last year, and it's a really nice course, and I think it's going to be a good change.
You mentioned that we lost 3 seniors. Who has to step up this year and fill those gaps?
It's some new talent. We have Cody Roberts, who's been, practicing a lot and coming up, and I know you and Matt Phillips be playing a lot and helping out. I think we're going to have a pretty good season this year.
Can you predict a record?
I don't want to. I'm hoping 7 or 8 wins maybe. That'd be really good, but I'm not sure.
Well, thank you, Justin. This is Mike Rao signing off at CSN.
Well, switching over from golf to tennis, I'm here with tennis player William Collins, who is a senior here at NCCS. And, Will, if you don't mind, I have a couple of questions I'd like to ask you. First, what are your personal expectations for the 2005 tennis season?
This year I hope to have a really good year, and hopefully at the state qualifying tournament I reach the semis or the finals to go play states at Flushing Meadows, New York.
What players or other teams are on your radar and why?
This year it's going to be really close, I think, with Seton and Plattsburgh, because that's who we had a tough competition with last year, so they're right at the top of our list. And it's hard to say right now because I don't really know what other players are coming up, so we'll see.
Now, a couple of years ago, the tennis team shared the CVAC championship with PHS and Peru, I believe. Do you think there is any more possibility of a dual or triple championship again?
I think so, because this year us and probably Plattsburgh and Seton again also have a really good team, so I think this year we could split it, or hopefully we could win it.
Have you worked on any specific aspect of your game in the off-season?
Yes, I play with some of my friends, and I even practice with my coach to work on my serve and my forehand and backhand.
With this being your last year playing interscholastic tennis, do you have any thoughts about playing at a higher level?
I'll be going off to college at the end of this year, so I'll be playing on the college team this year for St. Michael's, hopefully.
As a whole team, how do you think the Cougar tennis team will be able to finish this year?
I think we'll definitely finish in the top 3, hopefully, because we have a really tough team this year, and everybody's got great aspects.
All right, thanks, William, and good luck.
Hello, I'm Tyler, teacher for Cougar Sports Network, and this is our spring sports preview. I'm here with Coach Ed McManus of the boys and girls varsity tennis team. Well, comparing last year's season, where have we improved in weekend from last year's team?
Well, last year we were 9-3, as you know, in the boys, and 8-4 in the girls, and I think it was a successful season. But sometimes the tennis team is judged by previous accomplishments, which means that if we don't win a championship, it's not a great year. I do think we've improved, especially on the boys team. I think that top to bottom, the top 7 or 8 players are outstanding, and I think we're going to be very competitive this year. As far as the girls team goes, we had great expectations. We picked up Yulian Rao from the exchange program, and she's a tennis player, but we lost a couple of starters who, for a variety of reasons, couldn't come out this year. So I think the girls team, our expectations are not quite as high.
Are there many teams that pose a threat to a CVAC title?
Well, Plattsburgh High School is always good. They have a group of young boys and girls who are getting professional lessons all winter long at the Bay Club in Plattsburgh. Saranac returns, I think, 5 starters. This is for the boys now, and that they're going to be very strong. So those 2 matches, I think you never know what Seton's going to get. Seton has a bunch of exchange students. You probably remember from last year, they picked up 3 exchange students, and it made all the difference in the world. As far as the girls go, Lake Placid, year in and year out, is always strong, and Seton Catholic usually has a very strong girls team too. So those are kind of the teams to beat. We'll be hoping and getting our lineup set by the time we play them, and hopefully we'll be competitive.
Any players in the boys team that will have a breakout season?
Well, that's hard to say. We have 3 people vying for the number 1 spot. Willie Collins, who right now is probably playing the best tennis he's ever played, Trevor Batchelder, and of course Tony Changelo. So we have 3 people vying for the top spot. Whichever one wins, then of course has to play everybody else's number 1. And that will be a tough job, especially for Tony and Trevor, who are 9th and 8th graders. But whoever plays numbers 2 and 3 should have excellent seasons because they're all very close. As far as the doubles teams, we haven't got that set yet in terms of the boys. We have experience with Mike O'Connor, of course, and Brandon Sample, and Aaron Batchelder. We have a lot of experience, and then there's that whole cadre of youngsters who are vying for that next spot, including yourself, and we don't know exactly who's going to be in that situation. So as far as the girls go, Katie Gay, of course, was the 3rd place winner last year, and hopefully we'll have another great season. But beyond that, the doubles teams, we'll just have to wait and see. Emlyn Allen and Jen Mitchell, of course, were a doubles team last year. I haven't decided yet whether they're going to play singles or doubles this year. And we have, Em O'Hara playing also this year. And then we have a whole bunch of new people, 9th and 8th graders, and some of them will probably start this year too because of the fact that we lost those 2 girls. So there'll be some people playing tennis matches for the first time ever on the girls team, never having played a tennis match before. That should be very interesting.
Yeah, it'll be very tough to have no experience or whatsoever. Thank you. This is Todd, teacher for Cougar Sports Network, Spring Sports Preview. This is Coach McManus. Goodbye. And now we'll wrap up our tennis preview with a girls junior, Katie Gay, on the varsity team. How well do you think you've played last year?
I think I played pretty well. I came in 4th last year, and our team, I think, came in around 4th or 5th overall.
Thank you, Emma. Are the girls in running for a CVAC title this year?
It'll be interesting to see how our team does this year. We have a lot of competition. We had a lot of new girls coming up, so our team is basically a lot of newcomers, so we have a lot to work with.
What other schools might pose a challenge to you that are tough to play?
All the schools this year are going to be pretty challenging for us, but I think PHS and Beekmantown are big challenges.
Any other players on our team that are going to be good this year besides you? Because I know you're a #1 starter.
I think Emma and Allen will be pretty good this year. I know our first doubles team, I think, is going to do pretty well, and we have a lot of coming up, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I have a young team. Yeah. Are there any changes you made to your game to improve this year?
I've worked on my serve a lot this year, and I know I still have a lot to work with, but basically my whole game I got to work on, but I'm practicing, so.
Yeah, maybe you can get that #1 spot this year. Came in 4th last year. Thank you. That'll wrap up our tennis preview. Now we move on to softball.
Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network Spring Preview Show. Today I'm here with our girls softball coach, Coach McDonough. Could you give us a recap of last season?
Well, last year we had a successful year. We were section champs. We won about 15 games. It was the last year for Lori Babby, our pitcher. She pitched 3 years. She pitched every game. And she was 40-10 over those 3 years. So we had a real nice run with her. And, of course, we'll miss her this year.
So how is our softball team looking this year?
We're pretty strong. We have a very good fielding team, and I think we're one of the better hitting teams also. Our pitching is in the hands of Jay Lane Rabidou, and she's made a lot of strides lately. And she should be very good.
Could you compare last year's team to this year's team?
Last year, in addition to losing Lori Babby, we lost 4 other seniors. And this year we have 3 or 4 seniors. So in that respect, it's the same way. We have a good mix of experience and some really good young players that have come up from Coach Dumas's JV team.
Could you name some of those key players for your team?
Well, of course, the pitcher is the most important thing in a softball game. Jay Lane will, of course, be our most important player. Then you have players like Jess Gadway and Allie Weiss, who've been here for 3 years. Amanda Mavor is also a senior. Jamie Brunell is a senior. We have juniors. We've got quite a few juniors. The most experienced would be Courtney Corrier. She's played 3 years. Her sister's on the team also. She's a good ball player. There's a new player. Another real good ball player is Haley Folbert. And now I'll have to name everyone. Young Alex Forey is a real good athlete. She plays the infield. Darby Turner, Tiffany Lamberton, and let's see, we have Jordan Clark is a new player. She's young. She's very fast. We've got all, we have like 12 really solid players.
Sounds like you got a good team, but for this year's race in the CVAC, are there any teams that come to mind for competition?
Well, Plattsburgh High School is very good. They have the same pitcher they've had for years. They're probably the best team. Ticonderoga is always strong. Beatmantown will be very strong this year. They have a real good pitcher. Saranac is always tough. Those four teams, and any team that comes up with a strong pitcher, can beat any other team. So.
Well, that's all the time we have for Mr. McDonough's interview. I would like to thank Coach McDonough for his thoughts. Next on the Cougar Sports Spring Preview Show, we will have Allie Weiss, a player from our girls softball team.
Thank you, Josh.
Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network Spring Preview Show. I am joined now with Allie Weiss, a player from Coach McDonough's team for our varsity softball. How is your team looking this year compared to last year?
Pretty good compared to last year. I think this is going to be a rebuilding year. We have a lot of younger players, and last year we had quite a few seniors that were key players on our team.
What is your most memorable moment playing softball for our softball league?
We've had some pretty good times with our wonderful coach, Mr. McDonough, but last year our sectional championship was a pretty successful thing.
Could you name some of the more key players for your team?
We have five seniors, me, Jess Gadway, Amanda Mavor, and Jamie Brunel. Oh, that's only four. One of them quit, but they're pretty key players, but the team together is pretty, it's strong.
Do you think you could win CVAC this year?
I think it's possible, but it depends on what the other teams have.
Could you tell us some of your tougher competition for CVAC?
Definitely Plattsburgh. They have a really good pitcher, and I don't really know much about the rest of the teams.
Thank you, Allie. For the Cougar Sports Network, this was our softball spring preview show. Next, we will have baseball.
Now from softball to baseball, I'm Ian Lapierre here with Coach Mitchell of the varsity team, and can you recap last year for us?
Yes, last year we had a young squad, fairly inexperienced, but they grew along throughout the season. We had a few tough games, we were close, and actually we pulled out our one major victory over Peru, who was a contender for Division I. So in all, with a young, inexperienced team, they came together and we played fairly decent baseball.
What are some of your expectations for this year?
Well, this year our returners, we have 6 returning players, including Matt Welch at a catching position. We had Nate Young starting at catcher last year, who's a good solid catcher defensively, can hit the ball, but switching a few different positions, trying to finagle stuff so it works out better for the team. We put Matt Welch at catcher, and Nate was playing left field. We needed to solidify the outfield position. And overall, I think this year, with those guys in the key positions that they are in now, along with up-and-coming pitchers. And defensively, we have Chris Mata, who's going to be a pitcher, shortstop. So he has great knowledge of the game. So overall, I think this year, we're going to do quite a bit better, I believe. We have a strong fundamental team, still young, but overall, I think we have a better knowledge of the game.
What are some of your starting pitchers this year?
Starting pitchers, my first guy, Ryan Hampton, then Chris Mata and Matt Welch. Those are my 3 starters. And potentially we have Corey Letourneau, Skylar Massey if we need him. And probably won't go too much further into depth than that. But my 3 starters, Hampton, Welch, and Mata.
Okay, that's all we have here with Coach Mitchell. I'm Ian Lapierre for CSN.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ian Lapierre for CSN, here with Matt Welch, player for the varsity team. And what's your opinion of this year's team?
This year's team, I think it's a little bit stronger than last year's. We got a couple newcomers who are not new to the game. They know what they're doing, and I think they're going to help us out a lot this year.
What do you think of those 6 newcomers that are on this team?
The 6 newcomers, I've had a chance to play with them for town ball and some on all-star teams, and they are definitely going to be helpful to this team this year.
What's some competition in the league?
I think Saranac will be probably our biggest challenge this year.
How did you work to improve your game over the summer?
Just try to focus a lot more on the position I'm playing and just work hard at it, practice hard, and make sure you do stuff right.
What record do you hope your team to get?
A good one. Basically, yeah.
Okay, I'm Ian Lapeer here with Matt Welch for CSN.
And now off of our baseball topic, we're here on the preview of the NCCS track team. I'm Chris Guerin, and I'm here with boys and girls track coach Mrs. Lynch. She'll be telling us about the upcoming year. First of all, can you give us a little recap of the boys and girls team last year?
Yes, last year the boys didn't really lose anybody. We were returning almost all of the players. For the girls, we lost Andrea Knapp and Steffi Bayshard and Michelle Goodrow. To recap the season from last year, what happened was the boys were about even. The girls had a losing season. We didn't have enough girls to fill the events, but we had some top girls that ended up at states.
So who are some of the key runners for this year's boys and girls team?
Some of the key runners for the boys team would be Travis Dragoon in the distance, Matt Seguin in the hurdles. We'll also have our distance runners of Bobby Grimm, David Werner, and James Cruz that will be back again.
Do you think this year will be a successful year?
I think they have a good chance this year. Our first meet's against Ty on Thursday, and that will give them some trouble. They have some good distance people, but I think the boys have a good chance this year of having a winning season.
Who are the most schools you're worried about for competition?
For the boys, Ty. For the girls, again, our numbers are so low that meet-wise we won't do well. It'll be more individual performances that we're concerned about.
Do you think either of the teams can make a run for CBCA champs?
The boys might have a shot at that, but girls, again, we've got only 20 girls, so we can't fill the events. It would be a tough thing to fulfill.
And who are some of the key players for the girls in the field events?
We have Katrin Hurdick returning for the girls in distance events, and we have Christy Knapp, who is a state champion in hurdlers, that will be returning in the running events. Also last year, Casey Ladd was coming up in the sprints.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have. Thank you, Mrs. Lynch, for the boys and girls preview.
Hello, I'm Ryan Armstrong from CSN. Beside me today I got Travis Dragoon from the boys track team. Travis, how does your team look like for this year?
Our team looks really good this year. It should be about the same as last year. I think we're going to have a winning record this year. Hopefully we'll get over 500.
Who are some of the key runners on your team this year?
Key runners, Dave Warner and Matt Seguin for sprints and hurdles. James Cruz and Bobby Graham for distance, and Mike Nagel and I are probably for middle distance.
Who are some top runners from other schools in your division that might give you a run this year?
There's 3 runners from Ticonderoga that run the mile against me that are pretty good. There's a Plattsburgh runner who's really good, and a Saranac runner who's really good.
Can you compare this team with last year's team?
This year's team is going to be about the same as last year. We only lost 1 runner who really helped us out, but I think we can have some people step up and replace them.
I know you're a good runner. What are some of your achievements over the years?
I hold the mile record right now, and last year I was undefeated and section champion in the mile. My mile record time is a 4:34 mile.
Thank you. Who are some of your leaders in field events?
John Hardigan is going to be our high jumper. John Hardigan also does triple jump with me and James Frankie, and for long jump we have Mike Nagel.
Now, what are your plans for next year?
I'm going to head to college down in Utica and run cross country, indoor track, and outdoor track. year-round. I'll be running.
Thank you, Travis. I'm Ryan Armstrong from Cougar Sports Network. And next we will have the end of the sports wrap-up. Thanks.
Welcome back to our Cougar Sports Spring Preview Show. I'm Cody Roberts, and we have assembled our Cougar Sports Network staff to discuss the upcoming spring season. Joining me now is Mike Rowell to talk about the upcoming golf season.
I think that the golf team is looking all right this year. They lost a few starters, but I think that they have Saranac Lake early at home, and Saranac Lake might not even be on a course right now because it's in Saranac Lake. So if they can get Saranac Lake at home and a good win, then I think that'll set them off to a good season.
Yeah, if we can get Saranac Lake at home, hopefully they don't have played much like you said, and hopefully we can get a lot of practice in between now and then. Hopefully we can catch them early and be key to going undefeated or having a great record.
Saranac Lake is a good team, and I think that if we can get a big win there, and the fact that we don't play Adirondack once this season, which is a very tough course, and our team has known not to play very well there. So I think that this season from now is looking good, so we'll see what's going to happen.
The boys and girls tennis teams under Coach McManus are ready for another season. And here to talk about the tennis season is Tyler Richards and Tyler Tatro.
The boys' tennis team looks strong, and they might be able to go all the way. Tough competition with schools like Peru and Plattsburgh, where they have a dominant foreign exchange student program, which brings a lot of talent. But the girls' team has Julianne Rao, an exchange student of our own here at NCCS, and they picked her up through the tennis program, and I think she's really going to have a big impact on the girls' team.
The boys' teams are going to do very good. Only Seton and Peru probably seem to be the only challenge. They got good three starters with Changelo, Collins, and Batchelder, and the doubles team has depth. For the girls, it's a bit of a rebuilding season with Katie Gay on their number one starter. They got a couple 8th graders and freshmen that hope to play in the future.
Yeah, the boys team has a lot of depth in it, and I think the girls are really going to use this year to build the program back up and hopefully make a run at it next year.
The girls softball team won the Section 7 Class B championship last year, and here to tell us about their fortunes are Josh Misak and Ian Lapierre.
With our girls softball, I think we have a great chance of taking Division B once again. We have many great leaders such as Ali Weiss, Courtney Corey, Haley Faubert, Jess Gadway, and Amanda Mavor. We lost our starting pitcher last year, Lori Bobby, but we have a new sophomore, Jaylen Rabideau, who has seemed to proven herself so far this season, looking pretty good.
Yeah, our softball team's looking pretty good this year for losing a very important player, Lori Babby. But it's probably going to be more of a rebuilding year, gaining 7 new players and only having 6 players from last year.
Some of the competition for our girls team this year, Plattsburgh looking really good, being last season's sectional champions, only losing 4 players and gaining about 8 or 9 new players. Peru, another good team, the Indians, with their returning starting pitcher, Karen Christensen.
Beekmantown also looking good with 9 players from last year still playing.
Josh and Ian were also in charge of our baseball preview. How will the Cougars fare this year on the diamond?
They're probably going to improve from their 1-12 record last year, still having 7 of last year's 11 starters, and having 6 new players.
Yeah, we got a lot of tough competition also this year, but like Ian said, it's probably going to be another rebuilding year. We got a lot of newcomers. Altogether, I'm going to have to say we're going to have a couple more wins than last year, and hopefully next year we can build off it.
Yeah, hopefully tonight they can get off to a good start playing Beekmantown at 4:30. And Beekmantown lost 10 people last year, and only 6 from players remain.
Finally, our boys and girls track teams are ready for the season. Ryan Armstrong and Chris Guerin, what do the fortunes look like for them?
Well, Travis Dragoon looks for the boys team to have a competitive season, going at least 500, and the girls, they got good runners, but not being able to fill the roster might hurt them in the long season.
Yeah, the girls team doesn't have enough players to fill their roster, so they can't really compete in any meets, but the boys, so it'll be more individual runners who will have to step up and prove themselves in like sectionals and stuff. And the boys, like Ryan said, Travis Dragoon should have a good year coming off last year.
This has been an all-student production of the Cougar Sports Network. We'd like to thank the administration at NCCS for supporting the efforts of our class. We hope you have enjoyed our spring preview show, and we wish the best of luck to all the spring sports team. For the Cougar Sports Network, I am Cody Roberts. Thanks for watching.
The preceding has been an all-student production of the Cougar Sports Network in cooperation with Hometown Cable.